If you just start playing Legion TD OZE, and you don't know how the towers from this map work, I have made a video where I am going to explain every tower from this map. Before going forward, keep in mind that in this video, I am going to explain only upgraded towers, because most of the time you will use them upgraded. If you like our content, please make sure you subscribe to support our channel. Because there are players who play both versions of this game, I am going to use classic and reforged icons, so you can understand better. Also, the towers will be split into two sections. Section 1 will contain the most used towers, and in Section 2, you will find towers that usually we don't use as much as others. In this guide, we will focus on towers used between level 1 to level 10, because 90% of the time, most of the games will end on level 10. What I am going to teach you here might change in feature updates. Some towers may get stronger and better for different levels, and some of them will get nerfed. But in most cases, the towers should work the same. That being said, let's begin with the first section. Machine Robot is a range-piercing tower, good for levels 5, 7, and for level 10. It also focuses on incoming send when they are close to dying. Clockwork, a normal melee tower, is used to stun enemies, especially bosses. Helicopter provides damage aura only for range units. Make sure you have a few range units before building it, otherwise you lose value. Goblin Blaster, a normal melee tower, is very good especially for the first levels, because you can slow the game to have more time to send on the first levels. But bad versus level 10. Blood Raider, a normal melee tower, is excellent in the early game, because you can hold level 3 with them, and they are very cheap. Elder Witch Doctor provides healing aura, and is a good tower to sustain your front line. Build it only when you have at least 4 to 5 frontline units. Also good to counter the Infernals from level 10. Wind Rider, a range-piercing tower, is good versus level 10 because they can slow bosses and do damage per second. Revenant, a range magic tower, is good versus levels 4, 5, and 9. Also very cheap. Frenzy Ghoul, a chaos melee tower, is good versus the first 3 levels because of his lifesteal ability. Build at least 3 to 4 of them. Necrolite, a pierce range tower, is good for levels 5, 7, and especially for 10. A super powerful tower if is combined with a mana regeneration aura. The Butcher, a normal melee tower, a super strong tank, good after level 3, and a must for level 10. Admiral provides damage aura for all units, but don't build it in the first 3 levels. Zeus, a pierce range tower, is super good versus bosses. Build them after level 6. Overpowered combined with a mana regeneration aura. Leviathan, a siege range tower, good after level 5, always builds a few because of his AoE damage ability. Ogre Pulverizer, a siege melee tower, good in early, but build at least 4 to 5 of them. Very bad versus levels 5 and 8. Medusa, a magic range tower, good especially for level 10, because of her ability to slow enemies. Troll Champion provides movement and attack speed aura to all units. Don't build it too early. Greymane, a siege melee tower, a super strong tank. Always build it when you can. Skeletor, a normal melee tower, good in the early middle game, especially in groups. Fire Archer, a pierce range tower, very good versus level 10. They also tend to focus on the send when they are close to dying. Dark Mage, a magic range tower, good if you have a lot of range units in the back, to boost their attack speed. Don't build them too early, and no more than 2 or 3 of them. Nightcrawler, a pierce range tower, good especially for level 5, but build a couple of them. Harbinger, a normal melee tower, same as Raiders, super good in early, build 4 to 5 of them. Not that good versus level 10. Keeper of Souls provides a lifesteal aura to melee towers. Super strong if is combined with the life steal aura from the fountain, and attack speed aura. Doppelganger, a normal melee tower, one of the strongest front lines if is combined with a lifesteal aura. Bad versus levels 4 and 8. Hades, a chaos range tower, one of the strongest tower in the game. But keep in mind that the immolate doesn't work against flying units. Oceanus, a normal range tower, a very good AoE tower, and super strong versus level 3 and 8. Bad for level 10 and after. Violets, a magic range tower, very good for most of the levels. Very bad versus level 7 and level 10. Messiah, provides mana regeneration's aura. Good for all units that use mana. But build it when you have a couple of towers that use mana. Phoenix, a magic range tower, is the strongest tank in the game if is combined with the Messiah, or the mana regeneration aura from the fountain. Super strong for all levels, but build it only after level 5. Forsaken One, a normal melee tower, is a very good tank because of its ability to gain a lot of armor while attacking. Good from level 1 to level 10. Slave Master, a normal melee tower, is one of the most interesting tower in the game. They will be attacked only after all of your towers die, and if they survive you will receive gold. Good to have a few of them all the time. Hydra, a magic range tower, good because it can attack multiple enemies at once. Way stronger with a mana regeneration aura. Rider, a pierce range tower, a super strong tower against level 10. They are cheap and they can slow bosses and have high damage. Crusader, a normal melee tower, used only on the first 3 levels. Bad after. Royal Griffin, a magic range tower, very good from level 4. It can attack multiple units at once, with high damage. Veteran, a normal melee tower, is one of the best towers in the early game. One of the best value tower for its damage and cost. But a bad tower for level 10. Sword Mage, a magic melee tower, one of the strongest magic melee towers in the game, good in early, but also after level 10. Build it behind your front line. Ascendant, a magic range tower, essential for level 10, because it can reduce enemies' armor, and you can clean the wave faster. Build at least 2 of them. Elite Archer, a pierce range tower, it can attack multiple units at once. A very good tower for level 5 and 7, but bad after. Cavalier, a normal melee tower, a super tank between level 1 and 9. Because of his ability, he will take less damage in this range. High Priest, a magic range tower, has the ability to heal allies. Good to have a few of them to support your front line. Destroyer, a chaos range tower, a very good tower to be placed right behind your front line. Does damage to multiple units, but bad versus level 5 and 10. Guard, a normal melee tower, is the strongest tank when the wave does pierce damage, because it can block a lot of the incoming damage. Melee, a pierce range tower, a must for level 10 because his ability makes enemies to take more damage from pierce. Thunderbird, a magic range tower, super strong versus level 4 and 9, but also good in the late game, because he is also tanky. Tree of Time, slow enemies' movement speed. A very essential aura after level 3. Always build it. Goliath, gives an aura armor for all your units in close range. Very good if you have a lot of units, to keep your frontline more in the game. Tree of Life, a magic melee tower, good to build one near your frontline, because he can heal your units over time. When dies also heals your units. Build it only after level 7. Mercurial, a magic range tower, good for level 10, because of his ability to slow enemies, and also high range and damage. Don't build it in the early game. Soul of Hero, a normal melee tower, is a very cheap tank, good to build in the early game. Is also good versus level 5 because it takes less damage from magic damage. Soul of Villain, is a magic range tower, good versus level 10 and after, because his ability reduces enemies' armor. Oracle, a magic range tower, If you build units around him as a hexagon, they will take 33% less damage from all types of incoming damage. Mistress, a Pierce melee tower, good to have one because his ability makes enemies to miss their attacks in 15% of the cases. Well combined with Doppelganger or Wandigu. Fangtooth, a normal melee tower, very good in the early game if you build 4 to 5 of them. You can easily hold level 3. Sky Dragon, a magic range tower, after Phoenix, is the best tank in the game. You should always have at least 4 of them until level 10. They are immune to damage when they take a certain percentage of life, for a few seconds. King Claw, a siege melee tower, one of the best tanks in the game for its cost. Very good to be used as the first tank. Also called the Wall, because of his high health. Highborn, a Pierce range tower, always good to have one when you have a lot of units in your front line, because she can give them armor, and a cloud that provides health regeneration in that zone. Moon Guard, a normal melee tower, used as a tank, can sustain herself a lot because of her lifesteal passive. Build it only after level 7. Very good versus level 10. Hellraiser, a chaos range tower, one of the best tower in the game, can easily clean levels like 4, 5, or even 7 and 9. Very powerful if you have a mana regeneration aura. Tree of Battle, a Pierce melee tower, is probably one of the strongest Pierce melee tower on this map, frequently used in early, so you can push wood, and for and after level 10. Very bad versus level 6. Tusker Spearman, a Pierce range tower, frequently used for level 10 and after. Is a strong range tower that also slows the target. Ice Troll Shaman provides a damage return aura that works only for melee waves. Good for level 5 and 10. Bad for level 4 and 8. Build it only after level 4. Magnetor is the second slowing aura in the game, and is better than the Tree of Time, because he also can stun enemies. Ancient Wandigu, a normal melee tower, a very strong tank because he has a big chance to dodge an incoming attack. Very good versus level 10. Pandaren, a normal melee tower, good in early waves because he can slow a group of enemies, for a few seconds, with his ability. Build it behind your front line. And the last tower from this section is Blood Orc Warlock, a magic range tower, frequently used against bosses from level 10 and after. The same as the Soul of Villain and Ascendant, build 2 to 3 of them. Now let's continue with the second section. In this section, we will have units that are frequently used after level 10, or units that are not used that much before level 10. These dragons are frequently used after level 10, because they cost a lot and there will be few situations when you are going to build them before 10. They have splash damage and are good behind the front line. Assault Tank, a siege range tower, used for level 11, 14, and 17. Thrall, a chaos melee tower, the tower with the most health in the game, can be used for level 10, but is very expensive. He can stun enemies with his ability. Wolverine, chaos melee tower, was super used before being nerfed. Works nicely combined with lifesteal aura and oracle. Doomsday Machine, a siege range tower, has the same ability as the Sky Dragon, but is used only after 10. Krogoth, a normal melee tower, very less used even after level 10. Knoll Savage, a normal melee tower, again not very used, and when used, is placed behind the front line, to slow the enemies. Guardian, a normal melee tower, sometimes is used for level 10 because his ability can immobilize units for a few seconds. Adept, a chaos range tower, nowadays not as used as before, but can work if you had bad rolls. Golem, a siege melee tower, can be used before 10 too, but most of the time you will have better choices. Gravekeeper, reduce enemies' damage by percentage, and is mostly used after 10, when waves are way stronger. Meridian, a magic range tower, is an endgame unit, frequently used versus strong waves, later in the game. Mutant, a siege range tower, very used especially for level 13 and after. Has a super strong ability where you can use wood to make him even stronger. Alpha Male, a pierce range tower, can be used for level 5 and for level 10, because he has an ability where he can immobilize an enemy for a few seconds. But not very used now. Night Saber, a pierce range tower, can attack multiple units at once. But most of the time you won't use this unit because there are better pierce towers than this. Militia, a normal melee tower, one of the weakest front lines in the game. Use it only when you really don't have better options. Tree of Knowledge, a chaos melee tower, explodes when dies, dealing damage to a number of enemies. He also has return damage passive. Not very used these days. Bigfoot, a normal melee tower, used as a wall after level 10. He can stun enemies around him. Defiler, a chaos melee tower, used the same as the Gnoll Savage. Trident, a normal melee tower, not used as much right now. And we end this section with one of the most important tower to have after level 10, the Ghost. A pierce range tower, is very used after level 10, because his ability makes the nearby enemies to lose life per second. Okay, but what about the aura heroes from the fountain? Most of the time you won't have enough time and gold to build them before level 10. After level 10, the most used heroes from the fountain are Keeper of the Grove, Priestess of the Moon, Dread Lord, Mountain King, and Tauren Chieftain. It really depends on what aura you are missing before making a choice from the fountain. Hope you enjoyed everything we have taught you here. Also very important to know that these are my and FrozenCon opinions about these towers, and some players may play differently. But for beginners, I think everyone should agree with us. Thank you for watching our guide and see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.